Okay, so I wanted to give you guys who have been watching my little channel here a little tour of my setup. This is all new. I finally put this together because I wanted to, I'm doing a lot of gaming type stuff now, and I really wanted to kind of be able to focus on that. So before, I was doing large quantities of mid-range machines, lots of like fairly decent spec Dell Optiplexes, Precisions, HP Elites, in addition to mid-level gaming desktops here, mid-level gaming desktops there. But now, although we're still going to do some of that, now the real focus is a few of those here, a few of those there, with pretty much everything mostly being high-end gaming desktops. I'm also focusing on doing gaming. Just done it. A few of my, if you've seen my Fortnite stuff when I got started, I had no idea what I was doing. If you watch my newer stuff, I'm getting halfway decent. I'm almost ashamed of myself. I'm almost ashamed of myself to say I am okay at Fortnite now. I'm sure someone will tell me I'm still a noob. I don't know how long I'm going to be a noob for, but anyway, I wanted to give you kind of a tour of the way I've got this set up now. Because I literally this is why there hasn't been very many videos the last couple of weeks, or new builds or anything, because I basically took this absolutely trashed apartment and totally redid it, and that took me weeks. I work from leaving home to getting home, I probably work, 10 hours a day, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., however that works. Anyway, so I've got kind of this dual system, and this is going to be, I don't have the best video equipment. I have what used to be high-end photo and video stuff that I bought brand new many years ago. Most of my stuff is about 10 years old now. It was, $1,500, $1,600 camera back then, but now it's kind of a little outdated, so I apologize for any lack of quality on the video. I'll be improving that over the next couple of months, but my first purchase was some gaming monitors, which I'm going to be doing some reviews of. Actually, I'm actually going to start doing a lot of reviews of, so a lot of this hardware, you get people that do reviews of this stuff brand new, and they say, oh, this is a terrible monitor, don't buy this, don't waste your money. But those reviews are totally irrelevant as far as pricing and value is concerned when you're buying on the second-hand market. To give a good idea, let's see, that one, my main monitor right there. Can you see my finger? Let's see if we can do this. This one, right here. That's a 240 hertz Acer Predator gaming monitor that I picked up on Craigslist for $150. I think those things were $400 or $500 new. I think now they're $250, $300. When I can get that monitor for $150, some of these reviewers will say, oh, it's got bad color reproduction, or oh, it's not IPS, or there's always something. And when I can get that monitor for $150, who cares? I've got another one here. This one is a BenQ. I don't even know what it is. BenQ. Can you see my finger? Let's see here. This one. This. I think that's a BenQ. I think it's called a Zowie. Like, wowie zowie. I'm serious. That one I picked up, I think once I factor in the way the whole deal went down with a number of items I picked up and some discounting he gave me and some parts I'm still planning on picking up, I think I got that monitor for under $100. That's a 120 hertz, 27-inch gaming monitor. I think I probably paid, $80 for that thing. So when you're getting these parts at these prices, whether or not it's a good value is really when you get a 27-inch gaming, 1080p gaming monitor, 120 hertz for $80, it was a good value. So I'm gonna start doing some of those kind of reviews. I get a lot of parts like that, so that's part of what I'm gonna be doing here. But anyway, though, back, I got off a little off topic here. So what I have here is two setups. I have a high-end gaming desktop, and then I have a slightly less high-end gaming desktop that I'm using as a dedicated, I guess, I don't know if streaming would be the word, but I guess a dedicated capture box slash network attached storage device. That one is in, let's see if I can make this visible here. This right here, this is my Corsair 900D. I bought this a couple years ago. I've built a few of my systems in it. I like big cases, I just do. I've got the space for it. It fits. Makes a great monitor stand. I'm serious. It's literally a monitor stand. So I like big. Big. Just shut off. That just sounded horrible. So many jokes could be made. I like big cases. I find them to be easier to work with in general. I don't like being limited on what I can put in a case, particularly when it comes to storage, especially dealing a lot with the secondhand market. I get a lot of mid-size hard drives, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte drives, and rather than spend a ton of money on storage, I just raid the heck out of those, and I need big boxes to put all those drives in. The 900D, without doing anything really exotic, like anything super crazy to it, or any real custom modding, I can get something like 25 drives in it, I think, if you're really creative. That's without doing anything really crazy. I mean, you could fit a lot more than that if you wanted to do, if you wanted to do a custom, like a custom mount setup or something there, you could fit a lot more than that. And it's got the fan support to cool it. If you basically loaded that entire case with drives, you could probably still keep it cool. So I have that one. That is a that's an X99 based platform, which I again chose. I wanted this build is a 5820K, so it doesn't have quite the expansion, but if I decide to, I could drop a 5930K, a Xeon, whatever. And with how cheap that platform has become at this point, it's an excellent platform for a workstation. I don't think I could ask for more capability as far as expandability for a workstation, both card expansion as well as, the card expansion lets me do video stuff as well as just load the heck out of the thing with RAID cards. I mean, I think I did the math, and without getting anything really crazy or expensive, I mean, I could probably RAID it to up to like 50 drives or something with the right cards. So there's that. X99 is it's become a heck of a platform. So because it's so affordable now, with DDR4, at least for the time being affordable, I mean, load that thing up with 8 RAM slots. I mean, heck, what was that? 8 times 8 is 64? Yes, that's right. So 64 gigs of DDR4 would not be expensive to put in on that platform. So that is that's my workstation. So again, that handles game capture, it handles network attached storage, and just anytime I need to just have a system up for whatever reason. It's just a generic computer to use, or if for whatever reason I ever have a friend over and we're doing gaming, I do certainly. I mean, it's a pretty beefy system. It's i7 5820K, 16 gigs DDR4. Stay up. Something with my lighting, and it looks cool. It's an i7 5820K with 16 gigs of DDR4, a GTX 1080 non-TI video card, so it's decent. And then my primary system, which is also in a large but not as large case, this one right here, that one is in a Corsair 750D. Also, as I was talking about before, a lot of people, when they see cases like that, they say, oh, why do you need a case that big? Part of it's the price. That may have been, with shipping and everything, like a $500 case, something like that new. I got my 900D 3 years ago off Craigslist for $100. The guy even had the box and everything for it. That one was even better. The 750D came with all the accessories, everything short of the box. That case was 40 bucks? I mean, at that point, why not? Again, I've got the space for it, and I wanted matching cases, as you can see. Corsair makes so many cases of that size, or of that, sorry, not that size, that styling. I was like, hell, I might as well get matching cases. So that system is the one that you've seen a number of my high-end videos on. That's an i9 9900K. It's now got 16 gigs. I harvested 16 gigs of the RAM for the X99 build, which eventually I'm going to buy high-end RGB RAM for the i9 build and then put all of the 32 gigs into the X99 build, but I have to pace myself here. I'm spending more money than I have to spend, and I need a microphone, I need a new camera, I'm really literally trying to put this all together, and yeah, so there's that. So that's an i9 9900K, 16 gigs DDR4. It's got my Asus Strix GTX 1080 Ti in it, which I've had since virtually new. I had a friend get me that card for a very low price a couple years ago, and I've held on to it. I held on to it through the mining craze when everyone said, sell it, sell it, sell it. Because I know the history of that card, and so I knew I had a good reliable card with warranty and everything, so I just kept it through that whole period. Let's see, what else? So it's got the i7, the 1080, both of the systems have the same liquid cooler. I believe it's a Corsair H100i, but I could be wrong on that. I get these coolers as just bare parts, so if it doesn't have a model number clearly printed on it, all there are is, or it's like an internal product, product model number. I may not look it up. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I think those ones just had numbers that corresponded, but again, I don't always look it up. If it works, it works. I have all the hardware I need, whatever. They both have matching Thermaltake 12. Okay, so if this seems a little out of sync on the way the video is set up, I apologize. My camera, once again, older equipment, has a 4GB record chunk. For those wondering what it is, it's a Canon 60D. I thought there was a way around the 4GB. I could have sworn I saw it in the menu, but from what I've read on online forums, there is in fact not a way around it. It just automatically records in 4GB chunks, I guess. So anyway, though, so the two gaming computers have matching Thermaltake Gold 1200 watt, or 1200 watt, I don't know, 1200 watt Thermaltake, like 80 plus bronze or something like that, I don't know. But they're matching 1200 watt power supplies. I'm trying to think, what else do I have in those? They've got random smatterings of RGB parts in them, but I'm not really I mean, as you can see with these two cases are not flashy cases. They're big cases, but they're not flashy, and I kind of like that. I may do a flashy build with the parts from the 9900K at some point. I think the next case on my dream build list is the Corsair? No. The Cooler Master the Cooler Master Cosmos. I don't even know what version it is now. But it's the newest version of the Cooler Master Cosmos with all the tempered glass and everything. I've always loved the Cosmos. In fact, it's out of the frame, but I've got an original Cosmos 1000 sitting right over there right now that I was going to do a build in. The only thing I don't like about it is there's some really poor decisions they made on cable management in that case, but if you can get past that, it's a good case. It's classic. It's, for what it is, it's one of those cases. It's probably one of those cases that you'll still see floating around the market 20 years from now, just like these Corsairs, because they're, and same thing with, oh man, we're all familiar with the Lian Lis, the 20-year-old black aluminum Lian Lis that you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference between modern cases and those. Gotta have my naked juice here. So I have, as far as the monitors, I mentioned a few of them. It's kind of a smattering of stuff I've put together over the last few months. That is just a generic Samsung Just a 60 hertz 1080p. It's LED. It's an okay monitor. I think it's an SA350 for those familiar with those. It's one of Samsung's first really common LED based 27s. It's a good monitor. I got it through a PC Recycle event that I attended a couple of months ago, basically for free. So whatever. It's 27-inch 1080p. I'm gonna use it. The one right there. Can you see my finger? Yes, yes. That one right there is not ancient. I mean, I guess it's technically newer than that, but it would be in the world of 4K. It is a very old 4K monitor. I don't even run it at 4K. It's a 4K 30 hertz panel. I did not realize it was a 30 hertz panel when I bought it. And there are still tons of them floating around Craigslist and a few other places. I believe it's a P2815Q. If you think you found a good deal on a P2815Q, unless you are getting that monitor for free, don't buy that monitor. I mean, you can see the picture quality, the actual picture is technically a better picture than the Samsung. It is, the image itself is not a bad image, but unless all you're doing is displaying, I guess as like a kiosk display, great. Or maybe if you're using it as a TV, maybe great to just use for like 4K movies, because I think those are still 29.9, or whatever FPS, just like DVDs. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that was the case though. I picked it up like a year and a half, 2 years ago for $150, back when any 4K monitor for $150 was a hell of a deal. So I've got that. And actually, again, I don't even run it at 4K. I run it at I think it's 2K, 1440 by, 2560 by 1440. Yeah, 2K. Because it'll run 60 hertz if you set it right through the NVIDIA stuff. You can extract 60 hertz out of it at 2K. So that's and even then it still doesn't feel like a 60 hertz monitor. Maybe it's the resolution. I don't know. But so then. I kind of got bitten by the high frame rate bug, and that's what that monitor is. The Acer Predator is a 240 hertz. I believe the exact model is the XB272. And then I have come back on. And then the other one, as I mentioned before, is a BenQ Zowie. That's that one right there, and that is a 120 hertz monitor. They're both great monitors. I've got the two high-speed monitors hooked up to the gaming desktop, and then I have the two generic monitors or lower performance monitors hooked up to the other desktop because I don't need frame rate on that desktop. And it feels, when you have anyone that has high performance monitors will be used to this. If you have multiple monitors that aren't, some of them that are and some of them aren't, if you have them mixed together, there's a really weird, like a really weird sensation when you're going from high speed to low speed monitors. It makes it feel off. So you want to have, if you have a high performance, that's a piece of advice, free advice. You want to run high-performance monitors on one system. You don't want to have a system with a mix of, say, 120 hertz, 144, 240, whatever. Then with, say, a 60 hertz thrown into the mix, it feels off when you're using it. So that's why I acquired the second high-performance monitor. The other thing is I wanted matching resolutions, and so I considered buying a 144 hertz 144 hertz 27 1440p, but budget here. I found that my thing is, I don't think you need higher resolution for gaming at high frame rates. I don't really think the resolution is necessarily relevant once you hit 1080p, unless you have a really big monitor. On 27s, I mean, they're big monitors, but I mean, it's not like a 40-inch TV or something where 1080p starts to be kind of cramped. I think it's plenty for gaming on the screen of that size. And I really don't think you want to game larger than 27-inch, realistically, because then you have stuff going on in the periphery, and I don't think that's ideal, especially if you're doing something like Fortnite or Apex Legends, something like that. Trying trying to think what else is worth mentioning here. I have just a generic Microsoft webcam attached to my monitor. I've got a few random fairly high performance lights that I custom built sitting around here that are lighting up the room. You can't see them, but you might see one in a minute when I take the camera. So I want to show a few other things. So let's see if I can do this and not get too badly. Okay, so I want to show a few other things here. So this is my kind of corner of the room setup. Let me actually stop this and start it again. Okay, so that's kind of my room corner setup right there. So that's kind of where I do all my gaming, my editing, stuff like that. And then if you kind of pan over here, that's my TV. I never use it. It's not even hooked up right now. This is kind of a secondary setup station. I'm gonna start using it for bench testing, and as you can see, I'm using this this Asus Rampage 5 box upside down as a kind of a test workstation thing. I always use motherboard boxes for that. I find it's pretty much the most convenient way to do it. I don't really like the idea of a test bed workstation because I prefer my stuff to be a little more easily broken down and moved and stuff. If I were to get something like a test bed station, it would be a little bit bigger on the desk. I'd have to have a dedicated space for it. It wouldn't necessarily be ideal for the limited space I have. I have so this is kind of another cool thing I did. So that monitor right there mirrors the Samsung 27. And what that does is that allows me, because most of that monitor right there, most of the videos that you see on my channel are taken while I'm gaming on that monitor. It's an old Asus 27-inch. It's LED. I don't know much more than that, so I guess it's not absolutely ancient, but it's probably fair. It's probably 8 or 9 years old. It was a high-end monitor, new, but the main reason I have that one is it's got a lot of inputs on it. And that's important when I'm doing PC setups. So I use that for my main PC setup station, and then that right there is the mirror image of my 27, so when I'm doing capture, I can see what I'm capturing and control my capture station from the other side of the room. And then I have another monitor on the wall, which is going to be used as a generic, sorry about that, another generic setup. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of give everybody a little tour of what I'm doing here. We're eventually going to have this is going to be for I didn't used to have a table there. That's just a piece of glass on a multi-unit storage thing, but I'm going to use that for doing just some generic desk reviews, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's the kind of whole setup I have going on. Feel free to ask any questions, but I want everybody to see what kind of setup I have going here. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed the video.